You're gonna learn how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense. Learn Kali martial arts for beginners at home. You're gonna start with a stick in each hand if you have two. If you only have one, just use one, it'll still work. You're going to start with a warm-up move. I want you to get blood into the joints so you can stay safe from injury during this. How to hit somebody with a stick for beginners at home. Learn Kali martial arts for self-defense. Kali is another word for escrima, Arnis. It's just basic stick fighting, comes from the Philippines, from Indonesia. It's a simple technique. It's a beautiful martial art with very complicated skills, but the self-defense skills we're gonna work on today, you and I are gonna work on, will be very simple. I wanna show you how to be effective in self-defense using your Kali martial arts sticks. After you've done this for 30 seconds, I want you to split that motion so that you can increase the range in your stretch. If I turn to the side, you can see my hands are starting to go back more. Just a quick tip, extend your arm more for a better stretch, bend it less or bend it more if you need to protect your shoulders more. But get blood in there, stomach up and in, abs tight, turning back and forth, and then I want you to bring your hands here and you're gonna drop. Hello, David. So Peter's here, Sensei Emmett, hello. Doug, good to see you. Going forward, just dropping them down. They hit the floor, they point to the floor. If they hit the floor, they're too long, they can't be Kali martial arts sticks. But when you do this motion, keep your hand mostly closed. You can see my fingers move open just a little bit, but I'm not doing this. I don't want you to do this. Hello, Matthew. It's good to see you this afternoon. I'm going forward. 30 seconds here, get blood into the joints. 30 seconds back, increase your flexibility. Hello, Patrick. It's nice to see you. Forward. We're going to be doing cane again later this week, Patrick. Patrick said he was watching the cane demo. And then in the reverse, I do that for about 30 seconds. Put it on your shoulders. You're going to drop, go down to that first motion again. And when you go down, add that spinning motion and then spin it back. This is really also disguising one simple technique you're going to use for self-defense using your Kali martial arts sticks. When you learn how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense, it's just coming straight down on top. And so you're preparing during the warm-up here, and I want you to keep your stomach up and in, abs tight, pull your chin down and back, get in a good position so that your body grows stronger as you train Kali martial arts at home for beginners. Just back and forth, adding the spin. When you're ready, you'll slow it down a little bit and then gradually speed it up. And when you're ready, add additional spins. There's no limit to how many spins you can do, going down and going up. Just don't hit yourself in the eye. I just oiled all my weapons, so there's a little extra oil I just found in my Kali martial arts stick there. I always like to show that I make a lot of mistakes too. Not wiping off the excess oil before you train your Kali martial arts stick at home is a mistake. So once you oil them up and you keep them oiled, that makes them live longer. But after you oil them, wipe the excess oil off, then get started. But in this case, I'm just gonna rub it in with my hand and it's all gonna work. All right, so now you should be properly warmed up. I want you to practice a basic strike first, and that's gonna be from your shoulder, coming forward into, think the side of the head, the neck, the jaw, the arm, since we're talking self-defense. So from here, I'm coming forward. You can practice this in the air if you don't have a target to strike, and then stop it, bring it to a stop so that it's in front of your body. You wanna fight from behind your sticks. I saw a really good demonstration by another YouTuber recently talking about how to defend against a stick. And in that, it's that Hard to Hurt channel. And I like to follow him. He has a lot of good techniques, a lot of good ideas, a lot of good fighting experience. I think he's a former police officer, kickboxer. He's done a lot of those street beef fights. Or I don't know if he's done a lot, he's done some that I've seen. And he and I are on opposite sides of the opinion scale on certain things. Like, for example, he'll say that you can't defend yourself with a stick. And I realized he's got like a catchphrase which is if you have to fight with a stick, you can't fight or something like that. And he was talking about the Kubaton. I was going to make a video on the Kubaton this week, and I wanted to reply to Hard to Hurt Icy Mike, who says, Kubatons are trash, and if you use a Kubaton, you can't fight. And I think he's missing the point altogether, which I think he often does in certain things. And it's not that he's wrong and I'm right, we're looking at it from two different perspectives completely. Hello, Bob, it's good to see you. Now, I want you, in that video, this is why I brought it up. In the video, he demonstrates, or the person he's with who does Kali martial arts, demonstrates a Filipino stick technique incorrectly, which is coming wide like this, which, and the point is, he's saying, you would enter with your arms and you could stop it, which is true. That's what you would do. You want to close the distance. I would do a different technique, but you definitely want to close the distance if somebody's coming at you with a stick. It's hard, but it's better than if you recoil and get your arms broken. However, the way that they're demonstrating it might be common. A lot of people might do this, but when you learn how to defend yourself using your Kali martial arts sticks, I want you to come from the shoulder and straight forward. You're not going to swing your stick like this in self-defense. This is wrong. This might be how most people would do it, and this might be the way that somebody who's attacking you might swing, and that would give you the opportunity to enter without getting injured. But when you defend yourself, you're coming from here, you're fighting behind the stick. And so if he comes in to close that distance, he's running into my stick. No matter what happens, he's gonna hit my stick somewhere along that journey. If I'm doing it like this, yeah, I'm gonna lose. If I'm doing it like this, then I have more control, more ability to defend myself using a stick. And maybe I can't fight, maybe that's true, whatever the measure is there. However, maybe we can do a video together sometime, old Icy Mike and myself. I don't know, we might be too different. Anyway, I want you to practice bringing that straight forward like this in front of your body for the first strike. Now, there are two ways I want you to practice. One is bring it to a stop, bring it to a stop. There's that oil again. 1, 2, and notice that I'm not doing it the Kali martial arts way, where I might have you do this fun, because it is fun, interesting, esoteric, aesthetic, meaning pretty, esoteric, meaning interesting. That's a fun way, that's a cool way to disguise repetition. That's called Sinawali, or a weaving pattern. You can go high, you can strike slow, you can change up the rhythm and pattern, which is all true, and that's really really cool. However, this is shorter than the Hanbo. This is about as long. These are actually pretty long, but I got these for self-defense. This is a special self-defense version of the Kali martial arts stick. This is the Kali Quantum Protector self-defense fighting stick. You'll see the first link below. But I had it made a little bit longer because I enjoy the idea of having distance between me and a knife. If somebody's got a bladed weapon, I want to have reach advantage, which means that however long his blade is, I don't want it to be super long. Oh, thank you, Garen. It's good to see you. Garen will catch you when you come back. But I want this distance. I want to have long distance. So yes, this is shorter than the Hanbo, which is usually about 36 inches. And this one is 28 inches or so. But you can see the link below. Yeah, and you can make a pair of these yourself. It is not a complicated process. Or if you want it made out of hickory, handmade with these are more than just hand guard. This also will rip skin for self-defense. But the weight of these, when you strike, you feel that you can do a lot of damage in self-defense. These are very effective in self-defense because they have that power. So I want you to practice that first technique. I want you to go slow and notice that I'm coming from shoulder to shoulder and I'm using the camera with you as a guide. I want you to use something, either a mirror or camera, to make sure that your strikes are always in front of your body. See how I'm bringing this in and down? And if you have something to strike, like a stack of tires, or if you have like a pole that you've wrapped with some kind of cushioning, or a bag, a martial arts bag, I want you to practice But notice how I'm generating power. You're gonna generate maximum power when you do 3 things. 1 is a full extension of your elbow. 2, shoulders and hips. Turn your shoulders and hips. So you're gonna practice that on your target and go for maximum distance between you and the threat. And remember, you can still, if they close that distance fast, like I said, you're still hitting them, or you're out here, or you're hitting with a tip. If you hit them with the tip, that's gonna create the most damage for self-defense. If you hit with this part here, that's still gonna create a lot of damage for self-defense. But you really, ideally, would be hitting with the tip for self-defense. Now, that's the first strike. The second strike is coming from the opposite shoulder, from here forward. So you would practice 1, 2, do this for 30 seconds, and then you can cross your arms, bring this out, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just a little faster, Or if you have one stick or you prefer one stick, do one arm at a time. 1, 2, 1, 2. But I want you to build it into a combination so you're not just doing this 30 seconds, and this for 30 seconds. You can, but I prefer to see you adding an angle, and then the next angle here, I'm gonna bring it in to the knee. I'm gonna go down to the knee. You're gonna go down to the other knee. So you're gonna strike one knee, strike the other knee, come back up. Temple, temple, knee, knee. Or think of turning off his computer, turning off his operating system. Knock him out for self-defense. Think brain, and think his wheels, his legs, his ability to move around, right? Take out his operating system. Take out the tracks on that tank. Maybe he's a big tank, you know? But you're gonna take him out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I want you to think in terms, and we're gonna put one stick down for this one. I want you to think in terms of a police baton, right? In the news, there have been all of these reports. The Canadian truckers, I don't want to get demonetized because I'm speaking truth and talking about the good things, and then the social media guys are taking all that stuff down. But anyway, let's just say, create this image of worldwide protests and people who have had enough. And then the police in their full riot gear come out and they're marching, either they're smacking their shields. I saw that one this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. They're almost doing a goose step, smacking their thing as they're going up to these peaceful protesters. Not the same peaceful protesters that happened a couple years ago. Those were different. The ones with the fire bombs, those burning things down. Those were different peaceful. I'm talking about the true ones who were just fed up with the lies over the virus and stuff. But anyway, the guy's got the baton. But think in those terms. Why it's so effective is that your whole body is behind this tool. And I want to show you how to use this properly and not hurt your shoulders. You move your body in. Your arms aren't really swinging. It's not this. You're stepping in. Bring it up here, step and stick it into the throat for self-defense. So think throat, groin, throat, and if you were practicing the air, you'd step on each one, step. And it doesn't have to be a big motion because all your body weight is behind it. All the force of that strike is generated right here, and it's going into soft tissue on his body for self-defense. So think, and it's 2 hands. Then thrusting, both hands. It's a very powerful strike. When you also step, you're going to create so much distance between you and the threat. You're going to knock him out of there. You're going to push him back for self-defense. And it's just a simple stick. This is how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense. Kali martial arts training at home for beginners. You can learn all of the cool Kali, Indonesian, Filipino martial arts style, escrima, Arnis, all the different, what do they call that, Sinawali. You learn the Sinawali patterns, which are so cool. And then you get a couple of machetes and you get your partner and you're wearing the goggles and then the sparks are flying, but you're really doing the simple pattern over and over. I should say because why not learn both? Learn how to use this as a practical self-defense tool. First are these angle strikes. Think about what you can remove or destroy. His ability to see or be awake or think or see or move, right? So simple angles. Think straight down on top, right? Think horizontal strikes. And anytime you come in a horizontal strike, coming across this way, your palm is up. Coming back the other way, your palm is down. And remember, you get maximum force when you extend the arm and you rotate through the shoulders and hips. And when you also move your body through the target by taking small steps. So practice, and then practice in the air. You don't have to have a target to hit. Practice these strikes. You can practice stopping first so that you fight from behind your stick. Practice follow through second. That's going to give you more power. Plus, you want to get used to the feel of what it feels like when you put all the pressure onto your wrist as you come through. And then you can come up. Oh, wait, we got to go to the knee. This is all the same 2 strikes. Whether I do it up here, or I do it in the middle to the ribs, the arms, I go down to the hips, the thigh, the knee, down to the lower leg, down to that vicious animal who's off the chain, running around, mauling people, defending myself. All that's all the same angle, just done different heights. So practice that. And then practice, same thing. Practice horizontal strikes. Head level, body level, right? Upper body, lower body, leg level. Bend your knees. Anytime you change levels, anytime you want to go low for a strike, go low with your body. Keep this hand up in self-defense. And then straight down. You also can turn your palm up and come up underneath, between the legs, right? Up under the chin. Maybe he's reaching in, smashing that hand out of the way. So practice those slicing strikes, and then get your other hand on it. Practice thrusting and step with your body, but you also have the back end, thrust with the other side. That's the nice thing about using Kali martial arts, learning how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense. Kali martial arts training for beginners, you have these, this part here that's on the back. Now this is for pulling it away. I just saw the comment, any tips for self-defense attacks? I'm assuming you're talking about what if they have a stick and you don't. We'll go over that in just a second. But this is made to peel. Trying not to smack myself in the face again. I've done that a lot today. Too much coffee. The fingers, right? I want to trap it with this. And I'm trapping myself, so obviously it's a silly situation. But this is, if he has a knife, he has a weapon, he has a stick, you can trap. You can also apply pressure. You can go in and you can twist. You can lock somebody up. There are all these great techniques that you can do with that, with this side and with the length. But a simple technique is just coming from here straight in to the face. I can come into the eyes and then down on top. I can come into the throat and then down on top. I can come into his solar plexus and then down on top or down to the leg, coming through. All these basic strikes using the thrusting motion with the back side followed by one of these, or both hands on the stick and then coming back out. Don't limit yourself. I want to show you one quick twisting and turning. Since it reminded me last time, the turn of the wrist, turning the wrist from Irish stick fighting with the shillelagh. So from here, using one hand as a brace, you can turn the wrist as you reach, and notice that I'm also turning my hips. That's where all my power comes from. All your power will come out of your hips and off the floor when you do it right. So I'm gonna strike 1, 2, 3, 4 down on top. And you should practice that combo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, whatever you want. But practice this, and think about how disruptive it would be, how fast that comes out. If you're like, hey, back up, you're too close. Right his face for self-defense. But you can move very quickly when you learn how to fight with sticks, or how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense, using Kali martial arts training at home for beginners. I also want to, there's one more technique I want to show. This is so important that you learn how to do this, right? You just simply thrust and push, and then push. Yeah, and Patrick said, he talks about speed. Sea Dragon said he used a broken shovel handle on 3 attackers. After he hit one, the other ones didn't want to be there. Exactly, that's what happens when you learn how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense. Do you train with a staff or just collie sticks? The answer, I'm still going to show the how to defend if you don't have a stick. But the answer is yes. I practice with collie sticks, cane, hanbo, and now I've been practicing with tanbo. We haven't done the tanbo videos yet. It's about the same length as this, a little bit shorter. It's about 18 inches. The tanbo is more of a Japanese weapon, Okinawan weapon. And the hanbo, which is the walking stick, I use a jo, which is the middle-sized staff. I use the 2 sticks attached with a string. Hello, Doug, it's good to see you, called the nunchucks, or nuntaku. And any version of any of those things. I even use train with the double-bladed lightsaber, because I have people every once in a while want to learn how to fight like Darth Maul, want to learn how to use. And the cool thing is about one of those is that, you know, you're using 2 at once, and then in the fantasy world of movies, of Star Wars, they separate, and you can use it like a 2 swords, and learn how to do all these cool spinning motions. So I train with just about everything, any kind of stick. But my favorite kinds of sticks get shorter and shorter and shorter, and are sticks that you would find in self-defense anywhere, like a magazine rolled up tightly, or newspaper flipped over and rolled up tightly, maybe with a shaker of salt in the middle of it, just to give it striking force and striking power for self-defense. And learning how to, or the short yawara, the pocket stick that the Japanese carry, or its cousin, the keychain Kubaton, but from Mr. Kubota, Sensei Kubota, that you learn how to use for self-defense. And it is not a trash weapon. And yes, it is for people who don't know how to fight. That's the whole point. That's what my video is going to be about. When I answer icy hard Mike, hard to kill, icy cold Mike, cold hard to hurt. That's the name of his channel. Hard to hurt, icy cold Mike, whatever it is. I'm thinking of the Mike's hard cold beverage or something. I don't know, something like that. But people like that, the other experts, and I'm not saying they're wrong. They're just looking at it from a different perspective. Like if Mike Tyson came by and you were trying to use your pocket stick, your Kubaton, you can't use your Kubaton against Mike Tyson. He'd knock you out. Yeah, he would. Or they say, you know, like Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL. Jocko Willink drops in from a helicopter, fast ropes, and he's got a full kit, and he's got his entire SEAL team with him, just out of Ramadi, battle fresh, right? And he comes through, kicking through the door, and you're not going to pull out your double sticks and fight with him. Well, yeah, you're right. If I've done something bad enough to have Jocko Willink and all the Navy SEALs kicking down my door, I better be smarter. Probably not smart if that's going to happen, right? But yeah, if he comes through with a Navy SEAL team and they're all, then yeah, I'm not going to be able to fight and win with a pair of collie sticks. So in that case, the experts, people like Hard Kill, Hard Cold Icy Mike, Hard to Hurt, you're right, absolutely. In those cases, you know, or if Horion Gracie or back into Helio Gracie when in his prime, right before he fights Sugata, Sanshiro, right before that, he pops up and you've got your collie martial arts sticks. He's going to take him away from you and beat you with them. He might. In that situation, I mean, it's kind of a silly thing, but that's, in my mind, that's how they're making those arguments. You can't fight, anybody who doesn't know how to jiu-jitsu and street fight and MMA, and then you're going to get a Kubaton. Well, yeah, that's the whole point. I'm going to use the Kubaton to maximize what I do have. I don't have the years and years of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I don't have a Navy SEAL team backing me up, and I don't have whatever. So if I stick a little hard piece of metal or hard plastic in my hand that I can then stick in his groin, stick in his eye to give me a little bit more striking force, then I would like to have that. It's better than nothing, right? Because maybe my alternative is nothing. Maybe if I'm 70 years old, 74, 76, my strength is failed, I have a lot of arthritis, I'm not moving as fast as I used to, maybe that makes the most sense. And so I'm going to leverage what I've got instead of enrolling in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu program and join a total top team, which is great school, great gym, or you're trying to get a black belt with Dean Lister, and that would be great if I'm in my 30s, 20s, maybe 40s, maybe even early 50s. I'm not ruling it out, but 72-year-old, the life's changed a little. You still learn it, right? That's still something you might want to do. But when you're walking to the car at night after your late shift because you got to go back to work because prices keep going back up, maybe you want to stick that thing in your hand just in case that young punk kid comes running up and stick it for self-defense. And if that means you can't fight, that means you can't fight. All right. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is what happens if you have this. And now Doug Bull was Doug used to be a law enforcement, had a police officer. Doug sent me some great weapons, some of his tools that he used, and among them were police batons. And as Doug will tell you, having been a lifelong law enforcement agent and martial artist, high-ranking martial artist, that using the techniques from a military or law enforcement baton are very effective, and that's why they use them. Now, the new expandable batons they use that no one ever even pulls out anymore, they're not as effective because they collapse. They use them in a different way. They use them like this. It's a lot of striking. This is okay, but this is superior. In my opinion, this will always be superior. 2 hands on it, always going for soft targets in the body and using your whole body to strike with. Immediate, direct, explosive, close with and destroy, violence of action, hit them again and again. Fight's not over till you win, and then through the face when you have to. All right, now let's say he has this and you have nothing, right? Let's say you're in a situation where you walk in, maybe it's a machete, maybe it's a hatchet, maybe it's a bladed weapon, maybe it's a knife, maybe it's a stick or a tire iron or something like that. So we're going to talk about what happens when they have something and you have just your skin and bones and flesh. The last thing you want to do is recoil. When you recoil and your hands come back like this, then it's easy for you to get sliced up. And if he has a weapon, this happened recently to a young man that was attacked by a crazy person locally who lost his life when the guy slashed at him. And they said he slashed him so much, his hand almost came completely off, but he did so much, he got so deep, he hit the arteries, the veins, and he bled out before anybody found him to save his life. And it's because he did what was instinctive. The victim did this, and so many victims do this and then end up sliced up, and the surgeries to fix all that stuff, if you do survive it, are horrific, and sometimes people never get used to their hand back. So this is the worst thing you can do, but you have to train that out because that's what you're going to do instinctively. So you have to overcome what's natural for you. That's what martial arts training is. That's what self-defense training is. It's taking what's natural, not doing that sometimes, and learning how to do the right thing, the counterintuitive thing that might work or hopefully will work to defend you in the situation. So let's say the weapon comes out, whether it's a stick or knife or whatever. I want you to adopt the mantra of put your helmet on, put your helmet on, put your helmet on. And you're always going to put your helmet on, which is going to turn all of this exposed stuff to the inside. So that if you do get hit, it's hitting out here. If you do get sliced, you're slicing the back, which will cause damage, but not nearly as much damage, not the fatal kind of damage that this does. This is the worst thing you can do. This is far better. So the first thing you're going to do, your hands are up, you put your helmet on. Once your helmet's on, you want to close distance as fast as possible, and you want to lead with the tip of your elbow. And imagine that this is his face, meaning his nose, his eyes, his teeth, his throat even, and I'm going to stick that elbow straight through as much of that as I can. So now I weighed myself earlier, and it was a lot. It was a lot, right? I weigh a lot. I'm not going to tell you how much, but it was a lot. It was over almost 250, right? So at 250 pounds coming in this way because I'm taking a step with my foot. And I know you can't see it. Now you can see in the mirror behind me. It's as simple as that. When I go forward, I step front foot, back foot. When I go back, I step back foot, front foot. Now your instinct will be to step with the other foot. And if you do, it's not going to be that bad because your helmet's on. So as long as you get your helmet on, if you step with that back foot or you step with the front foot, then immediately an elbow has to come into his face. That's going to disrupt whatever his strike is. Now remember what I said before, if I'm striking like this, which is the wrong way to strike, but a lot of people don't train to slice unless they're a knife fighter or they've been to the penitentiary in the United States. They spend a lot, if they're a hardened criminal, then you might be in trouble, right? We're back to that argument. You know, who it is that's attacking you. But you still have to try to defend yourself. You still have to be your own first responder. Within the first few seconds of that attack, I don't care if there's a police officer, even if he's standing there and he sees it, for him to pull and take action might be 3, 5, 7 seconds. And that might be 7, 10, 12 slashes. So if you're, if you're like this, if those slashes come here and this comes here, maybe it's 2 slashes, 3. And then the police officer can do it. But he's probably not standing there, right? He might have to come help you. He might have to get in his car from somewhere and drive when he gets a phone call. That might be 7, 10 minutes. So from here, you're your own first responder, put your helmet on and drive this in. Now from here, I'm not gonna take this off. So that means don't pull it back to do this. From here, I wanna bring this forward. It is gonna come off at the end, but that's just a fraction of a second before that one smashes into the side of his face. Now you can do this 2 or 3 times. You can even bring those elbows up and in. But then I want you to bring the elbows to the side. And while you're doing that, I want you to capture your other hand. From here, this is gonna be a harder strike when you have your other hand. And then pushing this into his face. And then this into his body. And to get the maximum power, move. It's almost like your arms don't have to move. This is wrong. This puts too much pressure on your shoulders. This, back and forth, that's just me moving the feet. Get back there so you can see my feet again. That's me moving side to side. Now if I take this 250 pounds and stick that into a solar plexus, it's gonna move him back. And I've already hit him 2 or 3 times. So once again, if you were to write this down, which would be a great idea, if this is something that's of interest to you, write it down, because you don't treat your brain like a filing cabinet. Write it down. Put your helmet on. Drive the elbows as you're striking. Grab your other hand so that you have more leverage and your elbows are hitting harder. Pushing straight into, and you look at this and you think, well, that's not a very strong strike, but you have to remember. Icy Cold Mike might say, hard to hurt, might say, well, it's not gonna work. You must not know how to fight. That guy's never spent 16 years in the octagon, and the answer is yes, you're right. I don't know how to fight, so I'm gonna stick that in his face. You have to remember, this is a very strong position. You're holding both hands, you've multiplied your force, and you're sticking this into soft tissue. The question you have to ask yourself with the breath, what target can you remove or destroy? His ability to see, his ability to breathe temporarily or permanently, his ability to have his balance because you crushed the inner ear, or you struck him in the temple, you knocked him out, he's unconscious, or you hit that nerve process in the neck that flushes the blood out of his brain, he falls like a sack of dog poo that he is. So and that's what you're striking though. You're striking with this, and if he's super tall, maybe that's right here in the solar plexus. That's a good place to strike. If he's really much taller than you, maybe you're striking or you're sitting. Maybe you're sitting in your chair. A guy comes down, he's on top of you. You put your helmet on. You drive forward as much as you can. You bring the elbows in. Start to grab your hand, smash into the face, and then into the solar plexus. He's super tall, maybe that's his groin. And then when you can, back yourself out of there and then run, because you can't fight, which is good. We're not here to fight. I don't want to fight this guy. Maybe he's got 4 or 5 friends. He's got a knife. This is not street fighting. This is not bar fighting. This is self-defense. It's totally different than how to win a street fight. It's totally different. I want to use violence against violence. This is all about I'm assuming he's younger, stronger, faster. He's got weapons. I'm assuming the worst. It's like anything, if you know anything about gun safety, you always assume it's loaded. So you don't play with it, you don't point at anybody, you don't look down the barrel. You have to learn how to use it. That's what you teach your kids. Teach your kids that. Don't touch it. Tell somebody, don't make them afraid of it. Teach them. Teach them how to respect it. But it's the same thing. I'm gonna respect this bad guy as soon as I feel threatened, but I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna let him hit me first. I'm gonna stick my helmet on, and while you're putting your helmet on, move forward. So practice that. Step one, move forward. Put your helmet on, move forward. As you're moving forward, breathe. As you're breathing, ask yourself, what targets will I now remove or destroy? Maybe it's those temple, maybe it's the body, right? Maybe it's his eyesight. Maybe it's his nose, or you're going in, trying to crush his larynx so he asphyxiates and dies for self-defense. Let the police come and pick him up, take care of it. That's where he should be. Some of these crimes that we keep seeing, these people who have attacked people over and over and over, and then the local district attorney keeps setting them free. It's a real thing. I mean, you Google it, right? And it's not happening everywhere. There's more good than bad in the world. I almost whispered at you like the creepy guy in Washington. But I'm not going to whisper at you. There are good people in the world. They're more good than bad. Always remember that. But take action. Get yourself ready. Get yourself in the mindset of being your own protector, your own bodyguard, your own first responder. Learn how to fight, how to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense, Kali martial arts training for beginners, and then learn what happens if you don't have it. Put your helmet on, drive the elbows, side. You can also come down over the top. Those are very powerful strikes for self-defense. The hands are together, just smash straight forward. You're gonna be very strong in this position. This is kind of a scissor thing, right? From here, striking, and then dropping, using your whole body to drive him back using the tip of your bony elbow into the soft tissue of his solar plexus or between his belly button and his privates, into the groin. It works when you practice it over and over and over again. You don't have to practice it forever, but try to add visualization. Use your mind, imagine what happens as that strike's coming into his body. And then when it happens for real, God forbid, let's hope it never does, but if it does, you'll be prepared. It's better to prepare than to panic. It's better that you prepare than you perish. This is how you defend yourself. How to hit somebody with a stick for self-defense and practice Kali martial arts for beginners at home. All right, you guys are awesome. I will, we'll be back in a little bit. We're gonna work cane this week. We have to do, nunchucks. We're gonna do nunchucks this week. Because I like to train with nunchucks. I'm teaching nunchucks tonight, and I'm gonna take that same curriculum that we're working on tonight, the same curriculum piece,